Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to talk about how to not just get through Ramadan, but actually thrive. We're talking about a strategy that can totally change the game, turning it from just, an endurance test into a month of amazing focus, energy, and spiritual growth.
You know that feeling, right? It's like 2 or 3 p.m. You're fasting and bam, you hit a wall. Your head's pounding, you can barely keep your eyes open, and everything just kind of goes blurry. Yeah, that's the classic Ramadan slump we're all a bit too familiar with.
But here's the thought. What if it's not inevitable? What if the problem isn't the fast at all, but actually how we're preparing for it? Maybe the real issue is that we put the wrong kind of fuel in the tank way back before sunrise. All right, so to figure out the physical side of this, we've actually got to start with the heart of the fast. Because, let's be real, Ramadan isn't just about toughing it out. It's about connecting with something way, way bigger than us.
The Quran tells us right there, fasting is prescribed so we can attain taqwa, which is this really deep God consciousness. It's all about self-restraint, empathy, and you can think of it like this. Our physical health, that's the car we need to actually make that spiritual journey. Okay, so this is crucial. How do we fuel our bodies to actually support those spiritual goals? Well, it all kicks off with that pre-dawn meal, suhoor. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was so clear about this. He said there's a blessing in it. And you know what? A big part of that blessing is just straight-up physical strength. So here's the #1 mistake a lot of us make. We treat suhoor like it's a race to just get as full as possible, as fast as possible. We'll shovel in sugary cereal or white toast. And sure, you get that initial energy spike. But by 10 a.m., you crash hard, and you're left even hungrier and more tired than before. The real solution? You gotta switch to complex carbs. They're like a slow, steady burn of energy that lasts for hours.
And this is where it gets really cool, because this is where ancient wisdom totally lines up with modern nutrition. Your ultimate suhoor plate? It should have things like barley, which was a favorite of the Prophet, by the way, and it's the perfect slow-release carb. Then you combine that with eggs. That's your protein anchor, telling your brain, hey, we're full. Throw in some dates for a nice, gentle energy boost, and some healthy fats from something like an avocado. Those digest super slowly and keep you feeling satisfied for hours on end.
But wait, even the perfect meal is only half the battle. The other absolutely critical piece of the puzzle? Hydration. You can eat the most perfect suhoor ever, but if you're dehydrated, you are still going to struggle with focus and energy. No way around it.
It's such a simple fact, but we forget it all the time, right? Our bodies are mostly water. And what that means is that even being just a little bit off balance with your fluids, it can completely throw off your mood, your concentration, your stamina, everything.
Seriously, think about it. How many of these signs have you felt during Ramadan? So many of us just assume, oh, I'm hungry, or, man, I need my coffee. But that dreaded Ramadan headache? 9 times out of 10, it's not about food or caffeine. It's just your body screaming for water.
So the strategy is actually pretty simple. You just have to be smart about hydrating when you can drink. Look, your body can't handle you chugging a whole liter of water right before Fajr. It just doesn't work that way. Sipping slowly is the key. Oh, and you gotta watch out for what we might call the winter dehydration trap. When it's cooler out, we don't feel as thirsty, so you have to consciously make yourself drink, even if you don't feel like it.
Okay, so we've covered food and water. But beyond that, just a little bit of practical prep can totally transform your whole experience of the month. The whole point is to cut down on the stress of logistics so you can free up your mind for what really matters, reflection and worship.
Yeah, just think of it like you're clearing the road before you even start the journey. When you plan your meals, maybe do some cooking ahead of time, or even set up your charity donations to be automatic, what you're really doing is getting rid of all that daily decision fatigue. That frees you up to focus less on the what's for dinner stuff and way more on the spiritual side of things.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. When you fuel your body the right way and you prepare your environment, you're doing so much more than just managing hunger and thirst. What you're really doing is freeing up all that physical and mental energy for what actually matters, for prayer, for reflection, for your family, for connecting with your faith on a much deeper level. So the final question really isn't if you'll have the energy, it's how are you going to choose to use it?